Remember the car scrappage scheme? Gave you money, of course, for getting rid of your old banger. The government has introduced a boiler scrappage scheme now.
People will be given £400 to swap their old boiler for a newer one. It could see bills go down by £230 a year. Mick Williams started the Number 10 website petition for the scrappage scheme. Anne Robertson is from the consumer website USwitch. Good morning to both of you. Mick, now just explain, you're a plumber's merchant.
Yes.
And you started a campaign saying, you know, why not? You do it with cars, why not with boilers?
That's not strictly true. I started the campaign saying, why cars? Because cars are 80% made abroad, and there was no guaranteed environmental benefit whatsoever in that scheme.
Whereas with boilers? Whereas
with boilers, I'm a plumber's merchant, I know about boiler efficiencies. Every new boiler that's installed is around about 90% efficient. These G-rated boilers they're talking about are probably less than 65%. They're supposed to be 65, but that's when they're new.
So the rules of the scheme would be you trade in your old, stinky, environmentally unfriendly one, but you would have to get one that's A-rated, B-rated, something like that.
A-rated.
Yeah.
And that's the law.
And how much does that cost?
I did a straw poll with some of my installers, and they were saying between £1,800 and £2,300, but that's installed.
So the entire cost
the entire job.
And I've got a slightly different figure because I did some work on this as well. The actual boiler cost itself for an average house can be anywhere between about 600 and 1,500. So even if it's minimum level 600, people will still have to find 200. The actual installation cost can vary between 300 and 2,000. So at best, people are going to have to find another £500. But because they are saving, on average, £235 a year, it's going to pay for itself very quickly indeed. Because actually, if you have a look at our heating and the hot water, with our gas bill, almost 2/3 of our gas bill is accounted for heating and hot water, so it's a massive saving.
Yeah, now on the numbers, there must be, presumably, Mick, there must be millions of homes still have very old boilers.
Yes,
people just keep running.
4.2 million G-rated, I believe.
4.2 million.
So this is a small initiative.
Yeah, 125,000 is how many the government will help.
Yeah.
Well, that's not very many, is it?
It's not, but it's a start, isn't it? And if I tell you that 125,000 boilers will save about 150,000 tonnes of carbon dioxide going into the atmosphere, which is very important at the moment, that's a good start.
And how do you think this should be sold to the consumer, as that they're going to get their money back even though they're going to have to put out a significant amount of money, or the environmental benefit? I mean, one of the benefits of the car scrappage is you get a shiny new car.
I think it's both. I think it's really both. Also, the fact is that we don't know whether some people will actually get some additional help as far as putting the boilers in. There may be some extra help that some people can get, particularly if they're on a means-tested benefit. So when the small print is worked out, there may be extra help. But I think it's really important to sell it hard, both in terms of the environment, but also it's good for people's pocket.
Yeah, that means the means testing thing you mentioned a second ago, I mean, that could become a real problem, because presumably, if it is means tested, and this is targeted towards those who have the least money, they will also be the ones who are least likely to be able to cough up the extra 1,500
right.
This is not aimed at the least fortunate people. This is a general scheme that anybody can apply who has a G-rated boiler and is wanting to put an A-rated boiler.
But we don't yet know whether there will be restrictions.
No, we don't. I think the point that I would want to make about this is that we want to make sure that everybody can actually benefit from this. And I think we have to recognise that certainly for some people who are on very low incomes, it might be difficult. So there needs a bit of imaginative thinking about how to support them so they have the scheme. But the other thing that I would say is that this is a terrific start. I think Mick is absolutely fabulous for getting this off the ground. It's really great. But the big message for everybody is that there's still these, it still leaves around 4 million people with these very inefficient boilers. And what I would like is to get the big message out there that if you've got one of these old-fashioned, big, floor-standing boilers that are costing the earth as well as costing you a lot of money, think about changing anyway.
And it's going to benefit business as well. The car as I say, 80% are made abroad. 70% of boilers are made in the UK.
Can I make one last plea, please? One last plea.
We were
If you are, yeah, I know you're out of time, but do make sure that if you are, when you're getting it installed, it's been installed by someone who's on the gas safe register.
Somebody's registered.
Somebody who's registered, because that's the only safe way to do it.
Thank you both for coming this morning.
An important point to make. Yeah, thanks very much indeed. Anne Rumson from Newswitch and Mick Williams.